be looking at pages 163 and 164 for our English papers. And let's start by reading the green poem at the top. Ready? A handful of moon dust, a lunar rock or two, visiting the moon must be wonderful to do. Okay, and now we're going to read it like turtles. Ready? A handful of moon dust, a lunar rock or two, visiting the moon must be wonderful to do. And now like robots. A handful of moon dust, a lunar rock or two, visiting the moon must be wonderful to do. And now cheetahs. Ready, cheetahs? A handful of moon dust, a lunar rock or two, visiting the moon must be wonderful to do. All right. Today, we're adding the ending full, F-U-L. And guess what? When you write full, when you add that to your base word, you don't have to have any twins. Nobody goes to the Magic Kingdom. You just write F-U-L on the end of your base word. And if something has full on the end, it means it's wonderful. It's full of it. Okay? So let's read the first yellow box at the top of your page. Add the ending F-U-L to each base word. Print the new word on the line. Use the new words to finish the sentences. So number 1 says care. Write the whole word, care, and then put full on the end. And I'll erase this full so it's not a distraction. Okay. And if you have not written careful, write that now. Okay. Number 2 is cheer. So we're going to write the word cheer and add the F-U-L ending to make cheerful. Go ahead and write number 2, write cheerful. Number 3, we have wonder. So we're going to write our base word wonder. Write our ending, F-U-L, to make wonderful. Write wonderful now in number 3. And number 4, we're adding full to the base word hope to make hopeful. Go ahead and write hopeful for number 4. Okay, so we've written those 4 words. That's your word box. They're not giving you a word box on your phonics paper today. You made it yourself. So you're going to use the words careful, cheerful, wonderful, and hopeful to fill in the blanks for numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Let's go down to the next yellow box. You'll come back and do that in a minute. Draw a box around each base word. So let's do number 9 together. Number 9 is the word useful. And it's telling me to draw a box around the base word. Remember, the base word is the word without the ending. And you may draw a box, or if it's easier, circle it. The base word in useful is use. Okay. Go ahead and turn your papers over. You'll come back and finish. Well, actually, you can finish this now if you want and pause the video, or finish going over all the instructions with me and come back to it. So on the front, we talked about the base word full. So if you're hopeful, you're full of hope. Okay? On the back, we're going to be talking about some different base words or endings to our base words. We're going to be talking about less and ness. So if we're hopeful, we're full of hope. If we think it's hopeless, we have no hope, right? Or very little. So we're going to be using less. And then also ness. Less and ness rhyme, but they don't mean the same thing. Ness just means that that's what it is. So if you have weakness, you're weak. If there's darkness, it's dark. If there's loudness, it's loud. So we have full saying there's a lot of it, less saying no, there isn't any or not very much, and ness saying that's just what it is. All right. So on the back, we have a green poem at the top of the page. And let's read that poem together. Ready? What's that in the darkness? A space monster in flight? I'm almost fearless, but I'll turn on the light. Okay, let's read that poem like turtles. What's that in the darkness? A space monster in flight? I'm almost fearless, but I'll turn on the light. Okay, now we're going to read it like robots. What's that in the darkness? A space monster in flight. I'm almost fearless, but I'll turn on the light. Okay, so now, oh, I forgot. Let's read it like cheetahs. What's that in the darkness? A space monster in flight? I'm almost fearless, but I'll turn on the light. Okay, now let's go down to the yellow box. It says add less or ness to each base word. Print the new word on the line. Use the new words to finish the sentences. So like the front, you're making your word box. In numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're adding less to your base word. Let's do number 1 together. We have use, and we're adding the ending less to our base word, useless. Go ahead and write useless in number 1. And then we're going to do the same thing with ness. In number 5, our base word is weak. We're going to write weak, add our ending, N-E-S-S. And you're going to do that also in numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? I'm going to tell you the back is tricky. And this is all about someone being afraid of bears. And we're going to do numbers 9 and 15 together. 9 just to introduce the instructions, and 15 because it's tricky. Okay? Number 9, it is blank to tell me bears are harmless. What do you think? Look at the words. It's going to be one we already made. It is useless to tell me bears are harmless. So on the blank in number 9, I'm going to write useless. And let's do number 15 together. 15 says, I wish that bears were known for, and it's a tricky one, it's weakness, So a number 15 on the line, you will write weakness. Okay. So go ahead and finish this on your own. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye, guys. Okay, hi, first grade. We're going to be talking about something a little bit different today. It's something new, but it's something I think is fun. So just make sure you're listening carefully, and I think you'll catch on to it fairly quickly. The math pages we're going to be working on are pages 475 and 476. Okay, and at the top of page 475, you should see a picture of a boy jumping. And the question under the blue letters, let's learn. Let's read that question together. Is 32 closer to 30 or 40? To find the closer number, find the nearest 10. Remember, the nearest 10, the 10s are the numbers we say when we count by tens. Let's all stand up and do jumping jacks, counting by tens. Ready? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, those are our tens. So we're going to find out, is 32 closer to 30 or 40? And let's read what the boy is saying. He's saying, count the hops. If you would like to, you can use two different colors. You may get colored pencils or crayons. Remember, markers smear on these shiny pages, so markers are not a good choice. Or you can just use your regular pencil. That would also be fine. Okay, pause it here if you're going to go get some colored pencils or crayons. All right, so on the example at the top, where it says, is 32 closer to 30 or 40? I'm going to hop on the numbers. It's saying, is 32 closer? So I'm starting with 32. And when I hop, I'm just going to make little hills that touch each number on my number line. So I'm going to go 32, 31, 30. I made 2 hops to 30. All right, let's see how many hops I need to make to get to 40. Remember, I'm going to touch each number on the number line to count hops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I made 8 hops to get to 40. You can probably tell from looking at this example that 32 is closer to 30. But if not, you could count the hops. 2 is less than 8. So 2 hops is fewer. So 32 is closer to 30. You're going to do that for each of the problems on your paper. You're going to count the hops in each direction. You're going to trace those and write whether or not, actually mine, I don't know if yours has a trace or not. The teacher's book has dots to trace, and I think yours may too. I don't have your book in front of me. So you're either going to make the hops or trace the hops and write your answer. On number 3, it explains how you know that 27 is closer to 30 and not to 20. And you would know that after you counted the hops. Okay. You will do number 8 on the bottom. Do the front and the back. And I hope you have fun with this today. When you come back, we'll be ready for English. Okay, so today for our English page verse, we're going to do pages 161 and 162. I wrote the 161 here because that's where we're starting. And as I'm looking at the video, I can tell that's a little bit hard to see. So I'll trace that for you. Okay, and on page 161, we're looking at the contractions he is and she is. And remember, we've talked about it a lot. When we write a contraction from two words, the first thing we do is we write the first word. So I'm going to write he. And remember, we're going to substitute part of the second word with an apostrophe. I'm going to cross out the I. I'm going to write an apostrophe S. So from he is, we can make he's. And we're also talking about she is. Remember, we write the first word. We cross out the letter we don't need in the second word and write our apostrophe S. So from she is, we can make the word she's. Let's look at the examples at the top of our page. The first example is with he is. He is my brother. And instead of he is, we can say he's. He's my brother. And then we have a similar example with she is. She is my sister. And instead of she is, we can say she's my sister. And one of the things they want you to remember when you're doing this paper is something I think you already know. They want you to remember that if you're talking about a boy, you're using he or he is or he's. And if you're talking about a girl, you're using she or she is or she's. All right, that's going to help you a little bit here. Let's look at the directions in the middle of the page at letter B. Underline the two words that make up each contraction. Write the contraction on the line. Okay, and we'll do number one together. She is good at math. Which two words can we use there to make our contraction? It is she is. So we're going to underline she is and write she's on the line. Remember, it's the first word in the sentence, so make sure it begins with an uppercase S. She's good at math. Okay, finish this side on your own. You can pause it, and then when you start it back up, we'll be doing the back, page 162. All right. So for page 162, we're looking at two new contractions. The first one can be made from the words we are. All right, remember when I make the contraction for we are, I'm going to start with we. I'm crossing out the letter I don't need, replacing it with an apostrophe to write we're. So I might, instead of saying we are here, I could say we're here. The other one they're talking about on your page can be made from the words they are. So remember, when I make my contraction, I'm starting with the first word they. I'm taking away my A, replacing it with an apostrophe, and writing the rest of my letters R-E to make there. So instead of saying they are here, I can say they are here. Now, one thing they'd like you to remember, and I would like you to remember too, is if we're using we, that means you're included. If you're talking about they, you're talking about a group of people where you're not included. So I could say we're over here, pretending I have people with me. Or if I had people on the other side of my room, I could say they're over there. They're not here with me. All right. And they have some examples here in your book. Let's look at the examples on the top of your page. And it says, we are making lunch. And then instead of we are, they're using we're making lunch. And underneath, they use the example for they are. They are setting the table, or they're setting the table. Let's look at the instructions for number one. Underline the two words that make up each contraction. Write the contraction on the line. Number one, says, we are making a pie. Which two words can you underline to make a contraction? And if you get confused, remember which words we're talking about. We are and they are. So we're going to underline we are. We're going to write we're on the line. We're making a pie. And again, remember that's the first word in the sentence. So make sure it begins with an uppercase W. Okay? And you can finish this page on your own. Bye, guys.